Today we are looking at romance and issues, betraying friends and lovers, jilted work colleagues, and an issue with a chair. Join us as we look at Am I the A-Hole? Dungeons and Dragons edition. So, hey guys, welcome to our Am I the A-Hole stream. That's right, I ain't saying that word fully. I'm being a good boy. I'm CJ and I am joined by Emma and Tim. Hey guys, how's it going?
Very well.
Great, thank you.
Excited? You're just saying from that intro, you're excited about an issue with a chair. Out of all of those lovers, colleagues, you went with the chair.
Yeah, I love a chair.
You love a chair. Okay,
that could be the issue.
Make this very, very interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. Now, we brought Tim along because Tim is a Dungeons and Dragons expert. He is an excellent DM. I should know he's my DM, my personal DM, my only DM. So therefore, he's the best. But he knows Dungeons and Dragons better than anyone I know. Emma knows Dungeons and Dragons all right, plays Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm just completely lost when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons. I play it. Been playing it for 2 years. Is it 2 years now? And I'm still lost. Absolutely lost. I just know how to be an idiot and roll some dice. But we're not the only people that play Dungeons and Dragons. I thought it'd be quite cool to do Am I the A-Hole and find out if people have been having problems with Dungeons and Dragons. Shall we have a look at the very first Am I the A-Hole for Dungeons and Dragons?
No, I would love to.
Okay, cool. Right, I'm going to put it on screen for everyone else. You can't see this, so I'm going to read it for you.
Thank you.
Am I the a-hole for confronting my girlfriend about her Dungeons and Dragons romance?
Oh.
My, a 24 male, girlfriend, 23 female, of almost 2 years, has a hobby of playing Dungeons and Dragons. And she's been playing with the same group of for 3 years now, which consists of 3 guys around our age and her, no other women. They used to play pretty much every weekend at one of the guys' houses, but since COVID, they've been playing remotely. So I've been overhearing bits and pieces of their games while she plays from home. That's how I found out my girlfriend's character got married to one of the guys' characters. I asked her about it, and she confirmed that they had a whole romance, a wedding night before a big battle, said vows to each other, playing all off as funny and normal. But then the next week, I heard them talking in character to each other and heard her say, "I love you and will always be loyal to you," with her voice sounding really sincere. This made me suspicious that there was something else going on between them. I mean, I don't think I would be able to speak to someone in that way without actually having feelings for them. And they spend a lot of time together every week playing, and she's very attractive. Why would this romance have started in the first place if there weren't sexual tension between the two actual people in the room? It's not that unreasonable to have a suspicion, in my opinion. So I confronted her about it. She basically said it's just a game and I shouldn't take it so seriously, and that there were plot reasons they got married anyway. I said it was more the way she talked to him and the fact that the romance came up in the first place that made me suspicious that something else was going on. She said something like, "Do you honestly believe I've slept with the other guy?" And I said, "I don't know." At that point, she basically shut down. Then later that night, she went to stay with her mom. She texted me yesterday saying that I don't trust her, then she's not sure we should be together. I do trust her, but I also think my concerns were justified. I no longer think she's actually had sex with him, but I think it was fair for me to ask given the circumstances. Am I the a-hole?
Well, that was a lot of drama.
Yeah, a lot of drama. Much tea.
Yeah. Emma, do you want to go first? What are your
interesting
thoughts?
One, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think I have 2 immediate questions, which obviously we're not going to know the answer to, but my 2 kind of, I don't know, devil's advocate playing questions, I guess, is one, how the question was asked. Because if he said something like, "Oh, if he'd said this is making me uncomfortable, do you mind reining it in a little bit or something?" Maybe slightly fairer, but it doesn't sound like that was the approach. So that's my first question of whether that was the approach or whether it was just straight up like accusatory. kind of statement. And the other one was, I've forgotten it now. Go on, Tim, you go. I might remember it in a second.
No, totally valid. Because we don't know what context in which it was said. Like, was it said in a very accusatory way? Was it just said that he just, as you say, very uncomfortable? I think it's quite valid for someone that doesn't play D&D, if they're hearing that kind of thing from their partner, to be like, that's kind of weird. But when it got to the end is what really kind of turned me back over to the girlfriend, is that he said, I do trust her, however,
I don't.
confronted her. Exactly, yeah. He either trusts her or he doesn't. Obviously he doesn't, otherwise he wouldn't have these concerns, be writing these concerns on Reddit. So I think there is some trust issues that he's got in the relationship. Otherwise, he wouldn't be accusing her of. Like, I mean, he had those thoughts that has his girlfriend been sleeping with this other guy when it wasn't during COVID time. So there is a definite trust issue there.
Yeah.
I mean, I've played in games where people have like been in relationships before, and I think it's absolutely fine. Obviously, it's a bit different. Like if your partner doesn't play D&D and is overhearing one side of that conversation, that I could see that being uncomfortable.
Imagine if they'd done the wedding night online and he was there.
Yeah, exactly. Just lots of oohs and ahs, and then a cigarette. But yeah, I can see where he's coming from as a non-role playing person. That would sound very dodgy. But as someone that's been in games where people have like been in relationships or any kind of relationships, there's like familial relationships as well, where someone's a father and son. I'm sure that person doesn't go home and then the dad's like, "Have you just been seeing other dads?" No, it's not true.
I mean, they might. You don't know what the rest of these topics are. It could happen.
Indeed. Yeah. So but it was the point. I turned around when he was like, he said, accused her basically. And she didn't feel that he trusted her anymore.
He's bringing up the fact that she's very attractive. Like straight away, that's a reason to not trust her as well.
Yeah, like an insecurity in him rather than a problem with her.
Yeah, it's another little small red flag there.
Yeah, definitely.
Leading to a much larger gathering of red flags.
It might also be the fact that maybe in this relationship she isn't as very verbal in saying "I love you," like "I'm loyal to you," like and things like that. And then she's not doing that in a real relationship, but then she's doing this in a character. That could cause
we don't know
what insecurities that she's willing to talk this way with a friend.
Mm-hmm. Then we get into a whole other kettle of fish of like, well, does she feel more safe saying it to someone she doesn't have those feelings for than like being very vulnerable to someone that she is in a relationship with? That's a whole other kettle of fish.
I think also when he kind of made a point of saying she's the only woman in this campaign and blah, blah, blah. Like that also is kind of a red flag because it's like, well, why does it matter? She's just playing games with her friends.
Well, she's been playing this game longer than they've been together. So they've only been together 2 years, but she's been playing this game with them for 3 years. So she was playing for a year before they got together. Which means he obviously got together with her knowing she was playing D&D with these guys first.
Well, who knows when that came up? Especially if, like, in a burgeoning relationship, you might not necessarily know exactly what the other person's doing on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis.
Yeah, but if after a year, so even if it was a year into it, like if saying, "Oh, where are you going tonight?" or "I'm going to play D&D with my friends," obviously you're going to have those conversations. It's not as if, like, if she was keeping it a secret, saying, "I've been playing D&D with a bunch of guys, like around the back streets."
Also, we don't know what the genders of their characters are either.
Very true. Very true.
So it kind of is irrelevant, really, what the other genders in the party are.
But I think he's definitely not approached it the right. Again, we can only do the context of what he's wrote, but the way he's wrote it is he's not done it in the best way. Like I think
it sounds very accusatory.
She said, "Do you honestly believe I've slept with the other guy?" And I said, "I don't know."
Yeah, that's not okay.
The worst way of doing it. Like you could have sat her down and said, "Look, I've heard some of like the role playing you do in D&D, and it's making me feel a little bit uncomfortable." And that could be an opportunity for her to sit down, or even go, "Why don't you get involved in the game?" And then you can see, like, she's obviously not hiding it because she's sat in a room with them playing the game.
Alternatively, like he could just do something with his other friends, or go for a walk, or put his headphones on and game, and doesn't again have that separation if it's making him feel uncomfortable.
I'm trying to
Other
remember
things
what
you
my
could
other question was. My other question came around halfway.
Yeah.
Was it maybe do with the sexual tension between? You can't have romance.
Oh,
if there's
maybe,
no sexual tension.
That's also not
between them.
true.
Yeah,
No,
I think that
definitely
was
not
my
true.
other. That was the
Yeah.
other thing that kind of sparked for me.
Yeah.
Because it's a role playing game. It doesn't. What happens in a game isn't real life.
Well, look at actors. Actors act those things out all of the time. Yet there's absolutely zero sexual tension in real life between them because it's role playing, it's acting as well.
Yeah.
I can kind of see his point of view in a sense of he was feeling uncomfortable. I can totally understand that, and hearing those things without context could be really bad. So in that sense, I can kind of agree with him. But the way he's approached it and went about it, for me personally, has made him the a-hole in this sense. You could have handled
I
it
would
a slightly
agree.
different way. I think maybe she could have been a bit more forthcoming and saying, look, this character's having this, like after the first time you heard it, you could say, and she could have explained the context of it.
Yeah.
Because obviously this character's a year old already when she first met him.
Yeah.
And hearing those things could be a bit off-putting, but
he could, like you say, he could have had that conversation and been communicative and just said, "This makes me a little bit uncomfortable," or "Can you just kind of walk me through what's going on so I don't feel insecure about it?" Like that would have been very easy to do in both, like just communication.
Yeah. For sure.
And that's the key thing. It's lack of communication, mainly from him, a little bit from her, I'd say is fair. That she could maybe explained it a bit better when she's saying these things out loud, but I wouldn't say she's the bad person in this situation at all.
No.
And I think the way he's approached it is maybe wrong, and he could have approached it better and get his kind of feelings out there. But it sounds like she was quite happy to say, I'm choosing D&D over you, with kind of like, yeah, okay.
Well, it's more like she's choosing like to not be in an untrusting relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are we going for? I am going for a-hole.
I think a-hole.
Do you want to rephrase that? You're going for a-hole?
Yes, I'm going for the a-hole. Thank you for that, Tim.
Yes, I also believe that in this instance, the poster is more of the a-hole.
Is more of the a-hole. And anyone watching, please let us know your thoughts and feelings in the comments below. In the future, what I would like to do, and I'm sure Emma's game for this as well, is we want to go through your comments, go back to these stories and read out your opinions as well, which will be really, really cool. So doing a roundup of all of these, because I actually am really interested to hear if everyone agrees with us or disagrees with us. Maybe we're being the a-holes. Who knows? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Right, that's the first one down. Do you want to hear the second one now?
Let's go for it.
Yes.
Okay, so the next one. Am I the a-hole for bringing my own chair to a D&D game at a friend's house? Okay,
right.
this is the
chaotic.
story.
Immediately.
I love it already.
When I saw this, I was just like, yes, this is really important. It's really important. Player etiquette.
What a swing this person's taking by just bringing their own chair.
I mean, like a swinging chair, that's like a lounger chair just props up. But let me read the story and we can discuss it. So, am I the a-hole for bringing my own chair to a D&D game at a friend's house? I play Dungeons and Dragons every Friday evening at a friend's house. She's gracious enough to host every week when none of the rest of us can. However, the folding chairs she provides for us are the most uncomfortable things on planet Earth. 6.5 hours in one, which is a typical session length, has me in pain and stiff. Even with frequent trips up and down to stretch my legs, these chairs cause me actual pain. I brought my own folding chair to the game this past Friday, one with padding and ergonomics. Our host was clearly confused why I brought my own chair and was obviously not thrilled by this. I told her the truth, her chairs are uncomfortable and I prefer my own. I was given the silent treatment after this, and her icy demeanour suggested I had trampled on her as a host and disrespected her space. The other people in the group seemed indifferent to me bringing my own chair, or else they took the host sides, and it was fairly awkward session in all. Next week, I won't bring my own chair. I prefer physical pain to social. The end. Are they the a-hole or are they not?
Okay. Emma, do you want to take this one?
You go first this time.
Yeah, not the a-hole at all. I mean, perhaps he could have foreshadowed this or maybe just said beforehand, like, this is getting quite taxing. I mean, people complain about cinema seats and sitting down for 2 hours, and they're way more padded than folding chairs. So that can't be, the host couldn't possibly be blind to that. Yeah, and I've sat some very uncomfortable chairs for like a long session, so I absolutely sympathise as an individual.
I've come out of board game days from sitting on wooden chairs with like actual bruises on my bum. So I really sympathise with this person. Imagine sitting on an uncomfortable chair for like 6 hours and having to concentrate on D&D
sessions on average.
That's a lot.
That sucks. Yeah, sitting on fold-out chairs for that long time, that's cruel. That's some kind of torture rather than that. So, I'm just going to come out of the gate and just say this person's not the a-hole here.
No, I would do exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Little tiny bit. They played devil's advocate. They could have approached their friend and said, "Hey, next week can I bring my own chair because it's hurting my legs and everything like that." They could have approached it a different way.
Yes,
maybe, and just said, "Look, I've got like a bad back, or I've got problems." Like, it could make it up and say, "Look, it's caused my legs to become really like I've got dodgy knees, and if I was sat awkwardly, I'd say, look, is it all right if I bring like I've got a chair at home which actually makes my knees a little bit better? Is that all right?" Chances are the friend would have went, "Yeah, fine. I think it's more just the shock of the rocked up
in a house." With it. Yeah, definitely.
Like if a friend came around with a lounger chair because they didn't like sitting on my sofa, then I'd be kind of like, "All right, okay."
Yeah,
I agree. I still think that they're not. Yeah, I definitely agree that they should have said it, but I still don't think they're an asshole for. Oh, sorry, a-hole. I still don't think they're an a-hole for bringing.
You can say the full word. I just choose not to.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if it was like we
you guys can swear. You can say what you like. I just don't like saying inappropriate words.
Okay,
that's just me being weird. But hey.
Yeah, no, I personally would do exactly the same thing, but I would definitely say kind of just before, hey, look, I'm a bit uncomfortable at the moment. I've had a, injury with a sport or something. Just make something up, like you say, and then give some warning that I'm going to bring a more comfortable chair.
Yeah, for sure. Communicate first of all. Just said, as Emma says, just communicate with your host and your DM before you go to the session. Just say, as you say, it's unreasonable to expect to sit for 6.5 hours on a fold-out chair at D&D. At the best of times, that's bad enough. But when you're sitting there trying to concentrate on a game for 6.5 hours,
to picture it. It has pattern and ergonomics. Is it one of those ones which have like the cup holders in it as well, and tray? Like it's like one of those wide ones or something.
Yes, I did think when you.
D&D chair.
Yeah, it sounds great. But when you said ergonomic, I was like, I did think, how can a fold-out chair have any sort of ergonomics? So there must have been something very different about this fold-out chair to regular cushioned fold-out chairs.
Rolled up in like one of these like gaming chairs or something, like just rolled it down the road, like hey.
Yeah, he had it folded in half and then just popped the back up.
And when you fold it, like the knee kind of thing, you put your legs on it and the knee thing pops up as well. It's like a lounger chair.
Yeah, that's a swing. No, I think they're absolutely fine by doing that. And also, as the host as well, it's kind of your obligation to make sure that the people that you're hosting are as comfortable as possible. And what host would be like, no, you must suffer on these £19 IKEA fold-out chairs that are provided for you, and just do not complain.
Sitting on one of those chairs, though, imagine if like you're the host and you're probably sat in the comfy chair and making all your friends like, yes, my minions, you shall sit in these horrible fold-out, and they're probably cheap, like 10 quid fold-out, and you know how horrible they are when you go like the beach or go on a picnic and you have those fold-out chairs, and sitting in them for like 15 minutes is a pain because it's that flimsy material is sitting and stuff. It doesn't sound like they've got a proper. Like if it was a dining room chair, you know what, that's fair enough. But why would you have a fold-out chair in a house, though? That's what's got me.
Well, To play devil's advocate there, I do have 4 Fallout chairs for my dining table. But because it's a 10-seater, I've got 6 proper chairs and then 4 Fallout ones. But I've got cushions and stuff on them, and they're made of wood and they're quite nice. But that's just for like space saving, really, because I can't have 10 chairs hanging around.
Yeah,
Tim,
that would be
is
a lot
this
of
about
chairs.
you? Is this about you when you
This
have
is
your
actually
playground
Tim's
for
idea.
D&D?
Yes, I
You're
do
the fold-out
force-
chair gremlin.
Yeah, I've got 6 proper chairs, but I force my players to sit on the IKEA Fallout chairs that I've got, whilst they
Mind
must
you not
look
to go
at the
play
nicer
Tim's house.
chairs in the corner.
Turns out, Tim. Actually, it does say my DM Tim on the thing.
Oh.
Um,
And it does say
Oh,
by
we
CJ.
sussed it.
yeah, it does say by Siege. Oh, damn, busted. But no, I'm going with maybe like 2% the a-hole. They could have approached it a bit better, but overall, I don't think they've done anything wrong. It was more for like a health thing. It was causing problems for them.
Yeah.
And it was ultimately, everyone would be happier if people are comfortable. You're happier when you're comfortable, right?
Oh, for sure.
So you would have a better session, a better D&D session if you're sat comfortably than you would if you were really uncomfortable and you were
People
slowly
didn't
bruising
say
your
anything
bottom.
either, though, which is the worrying bit. Like, are they just sitting there, kind of like don't say anything? Like, maybe this woman's a Karen, and they don't want to mess with her. How dare you disrespect my fold-out chairs?
Maybe they were like in something they inherited or something, like really special fold-out chairs, and there's a whole backstory. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's got to be more to this than just definitely.
But we only know what they've told us, but I'm going with not the a-hole on this case.
Agreed.
Also agreed.
Right, next one. Okay. Here we go. So far we've had a-hole and not the a-hole. So it's 1-1
so
far.
50-50 so far.
I think this one's going to be an interesting one for Tim.
Okay.
This one is titled, "Am I the a-hole for not letting my friend play his D&D character the way he wants?" So this is where Tim's DMness is going to come into play. So let me read through it. "A group of my friends are starting up a game of Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not the DM, but I have a bit more experience with the game and have been helping people make characters get ready." I want to come back to that first statement because straight away that's like, alarm bells. "Okay, now brace yourselves because this gets nerdy as poop." They say the naughty word of poop.
Okay.
"My one friend wants to play a parrot person that mimics other people's speech patterns instead of speaking traditionally. When he looks into this, he found the Kenku race and thought it was a perfect fit. Kenkus only speak entirely through mimicry. The only issue is based off the rule books. Kenkus are specifically raven-like in appearance. Beyond that, they are allowed a series of stat bonuses that apply directly due to their raven-like appearance. What my friend really should be is and I'm going to get totally wrong for saying this wrong, an Aarakocra. Am I saying that right, Tim?
There's 2 variations, Aarakocra. Either one's fine.
Cool. So an Aarakocra are also bird people, but in a much broader scope. They can be parrots, eagles, turkeys. The rulebook is very welcoming to any bird person you can think of. Plus, they come with a bunch of fun features, in my opinion, like the ability to fly. Based on the books, this is the proper race for his character. His personality trait of mimicking speech can still be done, and he will have the proper stats. Since the DM is also fairly new, he's deferring to my opinion, or at least staying out of it. And my friend is begrudgingly re-rolling using an Aarakocra stat, which gives me plenty of guff. Give me plenty of guff. I'm just saying the rule books exist for a reason. Otherwise, you'd be calling yourself an orc and taking elf stats or whatever chaos you can imagine. There are so many alarm bells for me in this one. And the fact I want to bring these up. I'm going to jump in first on this one. The first one being, I'm not the DM, but I have a bit more experience with the game and then have been helping people make their characters. Well, already they're backseat DMing.
Well, in that regard, I don't I think that's fine. I mean, if you've got a new DM, especially if your DM asks you as a player and you have more information for assistance, I think that's absolutely fine. As long as that's been requested, or if you're offered it and people are okay with it, I think that's absolutely fine. If you do indeed have more experience in playing Dungeons and Dragons, other players don't, the DM doesn't, why not share that experience and help out the other players? I think that's fine. But however, saying that, I do have many hot takes on the rest of this.
Yeah. The other one I want to point out quickly, and I'm going to go to Tim because I knew Tim would really like this one, is the sentence of, since the DM is also fairly new, he's deferring to my opinion, but then puts in brackets, or at least staying out of it. The person sounds like they're justifying everything, saying, in my opinion, this character is really fun, it's brilliant, justifying all their stuff, but saying their opinion doesn't count, they want to be this character. I am going to let Tim go now because I know Tim would have a lot of opinions on this. Is why I chose it, because I knew this won't be interesting from a DM's point of view.
Well, I don't want to take all of the floor space. Emma, do you have any opinions on the couple of salient points so far?
I'll just say that I think the beauty of D&D is that it is so open, and the beauty of it is that you can do what you want with it, and having somebody tell people that they can't do certain things or they should do it a certain way that they believe isn't the way I would like to play D&D personally. I understand obviously having a lot of knowledge is really useful, but I would like the fact that the game is so open and free. And I think having somebody kind of curb that creativity is actually a really negative experience. Tim, you go.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree on that. With regards to, I don't know, this player who has got the more experience is saying that the DM's deferring to them, or at least staying out of it. Maybe that's just them phrasing it because they didn't want to infer on the DM's state of mind. They just want to put words in the DM's mouth when they couldn't speak for themselves in this post. So again, with those 2 points at the beginning, I was fine with that. It was the later points I think I've got a lot more issue with, and going along what Emma was saying, especially with just saying, oh, you could play an orc with elf stats. Well, sure, why wouldn't you? Why couldn't you? There's absolutely no reason why you can't. And in fact, there's been supplements that have come out that have started to gradually remove a lot of the ingrained racial traits, like the stat bonuses, because they were saying, well, yeah, you could have a very lithe or shorter orc, or you can have a very big and buff elf. It's not fair to say that all orcs would have like a +2 strength and all elves would have a +2 dexterity. So already D&D as a core rulebook, as a mechanic system, are doing away with those racial traits. So that's immediately, and it's kind of undermined their argument there.
I do like the fact that is saying, well, this person's looked into it and picked the Kenku race, and they really liked it, and then they're straight away saying, no, you have to do it this way.
No, yeah, that's not cool. Yeah.
My character, like that I play with Tim, is a cat that was turned into a human. Well, that race doesn't really exist, so we went with a tabaxi. Is it tabaxi? I want to say tabaxi. So that was the closest fit to it, but Tim didn't turn around and say, well, no, you have to be a tabaxi. We used some of those tabaxi stats because they were very similar, but you didn't restrict me and say, no, this is the race you need to do. You can't have that character. And I feel like this person sounds like they want to be the DM. This is my personal opinion anyway. They want to be the DM, rather they kind of feel like this person's a new DM. They shouldn't be running the game. It should be me.
Yeah, at this point, like in the article, they are skewing way more towards the fact that they are trying to take over and say, no, you must do the rules this way. Whereas the DM may very well just say, actually, I don't really care. If you want to be... Because when you think of mimicry in birds, like the first one, at least in my opinion, the first one that comes to mind is a parrot. Yeah. The term parroting back information is repeating information back to you rather than a raven. So, if you want to be a parrot mimicker rather than a raven mimicry species, go for it.
His final sentence of, I'm just saying the rule books exist for a reason. Otherwise, you'd be calling yourself an orc and taking elf stats.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's the one I take the most umbrage with, which is, sorry, I'm sort of jumping in.
Go on, Tim, do it. Do it. Let out that DM rage.
If a rule is getting in the way of other people's fun in the table, get rid of that rule. I'm paraphrasing Matt Mercer there. that's what he said in the con. I 100% agree with this. I know Brennan Lee Mulligan does the same thing. If there's rules in there and it's getting in the way of characters' fun or inhibiting their fun, or it just doesn't make sense, ignore it, get rid of it, change it, do what you want. Just as long as you're having fun at the table and you're consistent with the new rules, do what you want.
Was it rule of cool? I think they call it.
That is one, yeah. So if something is pretty cool, then let it happen to a degree.
Like I
would
killed
you
a
say
big
that
bad with just like a quick knife. Dead. I win. Yay! End of campaign. That
would you
one's
say
it.
that the rule books are more of it, are there to guide and to help rather than to restrict?
Yeah, or
Is
like
that
a
fair to say?
railroad. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Much like Captain Barbossa from Pirates of the Caribbean would say, they're more like guidelines than actual rules.
Partly. But yeah, it's kind of like this person's going to be playing this character now and not enjoying it. Like, I think they said, well, giving me plenty of guff. Now, I'm assuming that's like they're not very happy the fact they're having to redo it.
Yeah.
And these campaigns can last for an awful long time. If you're playing a character you're not enjoying because someone else made you it, then you're not going to want to play. And that's going to cause like future conflicts anyway, because you're now this character that isn't the way you want it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
You probably wouldn't have as much motivation to learn a lot about that character or about the race or anything if somebody else has told you to do it as well. Which wouldn't help.
Sure.
So, I think this person needs to relax a bit more and just let them play the game. You're a player, not the DM. And I totally understand if it's a new DM. If the DM comes to you, then let the DM come to you and say, look, do you think we should do this, this, and this? Not go to the DM saying, you should be doing this. If the DM wants help and you've offered that help, let the DM come to you.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, whoever's running the game, they have the final say.
So, a-hole? Not a-hole.
Oh, sorry. I jumped the gun.
Emma said, yes, 100%. He is an a-hole.
So I'm assuming they're referring to this other player with the more experience. Are they the a-hole or not?
So it's the person that wrote the article is the one that is saying I'm the most experienced and I've been doing this. So I think they are the a-hole in this case.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. A big old a-hole.
Big old a-hole. Big gaping a-hole.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Lovely. Right. That brings us to our next one. So how many a-holes we had now? Is that
2?
2 a-holes and 1 non-a-hole.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Okay,
one smooth action man, but with no hole.
Is that the new definition of how this should be rated now? It's going to be like action man, but I don't even want to think about whatever doll has the other one, so I'm not even going to go there.
No.
Right, okay. Number 4. Am I the a-hole for walking out of my co-worker's D&D game?
Oh, spicy.
So, I, a 20-year-old female, have been playing Dungeons and Dragons for a few years now with the same online group. We went on hiatus and I really missed playing, so I started looking for another group. My co-worker, a 22-year-old male, heard about this and invited me to join a game he'd just started. It was in real life, which I really wanted to try because I hear it's so much better in real life than online, so I enthusiastically said yes. Well, I showed up to play and the vibes were immediately off. Now, this is where the tea starts.
Oh, no.
I was the only girl at the table and definitely the youngest. Everyone else was 22 to 26. Now, this is a 20-year-old female as well, just to remind you. They questioned my character choice, saying the group really needed a healer, but I'd already chosen a different skill set. For anyone familiar with D&D or fantasy tropes in general, the single girl is always the healer mother figure, which I wanted to avoid at all costs. After some debate, my co-worker shut them down and let me play the character I wanted. I should have walked out right then, but I stuck around to play 2 sessions. They were hell. every choice I made in character was ignored or questioned. The other player characters flirted with and harassed my character in every interaction. They barely let me do anything in the game and fought over which character would be able to date mine. In the middle of the second session, one of them asked what my character's bra size was. I stood up, said, "Nope, not going to take this anymore. You guys have fun," and walked out. Am I the a-hole?
There's a lot to
Well,
unpack there.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack, and also immediately I know what the answer is. Yeah, she's
Absolutely not.
definitely not the a-hole. No,
Yeah.
by a long shot. There's many a-holes in that group, and she is by far not one of them.
I mean, the DM should have took it, like, it sounds like at the start
Especially-
the DM tried to stop this from happening, but then just let the rest continued.
There is so many red flags there.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start.
So let's start with the first bit was they were questioning the fact that she didn't want to be a healer.
That is a good place to start.
Hmm.
Well, as we said in the last one, you can play whatever you want in D&D. That's one of the beauties of the game.
Female, so therefore she must be the healer and the mothering figure, obviously.
Anger inducing. Getting enraged.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I mean the games are not not balanced towards requiring healers anymore. Like, say you could easily run a party of entire fighters. DM just throws you more healing potions. Job done.
Yeah.
It's easily taken care of.
I am
You
happy
don't have
with
to
the fact
force
that
anyone.
the DM shut them down and said, no, she can play whatever she wants. That, at
Agreed.
that point, I was like, the DM has done the right thing.
Yeah.
But after that, the other sessions is where it kind of seemed to go a bit downhill.
Yeah.
What is it they're saying? The characters were constantly flirting with her, harassing her character in every interaction, asked the bra size, arguing over who gets to date the character. Like, she has no choice at all.
No.
I
don't know where to go. Really.
Yeah, I can't understand either why. I hope that the co-worker wasn't any of those people acting that way, because really they should have done something about it as well, because that's the person that invited this girl to join the group.
The co-workers, the DM. Let me just read through. My co heard about this, invite me to join the game. He just started.
Okay, so
But that doesn't say he's the DM. Let's have a look. Let me just check.
No, I guess it infers it, and especially with the fact that he shut them down. But again, that could have been from a player's point of view.
Shut them down and let me play the character I wanted. It sounds like that. I think they are the DM. Let's assume that they're the DM.
Yeah.
Either way, though.
But yeah, true.
Either way, if you've brought somebody into a new group and you kind of know this, I mean, even if you don't know the group, but you've invited somebody to play, and you can, I would imagine that obviously some people are better at hiding their emotions than others, but I would imagine there would have been some visible discomfort. And if you've invited somebody and they're clearly feeling, harassed or vulnerable or anything, why wouldn't you do something about it?
And obviously, I'm not saying that a 20-year-old isn't an adult, but a 20-year-old female surrounded by men aged 22 to 26. I know it doesn't sound like a big age gap, but that is a big age gap. Like 26-year-olds harassing a young 20-year-old female. Like, who are these guys? What are they thinking? Because I think, like, would they do that in real life? Of course they wouldn't. But because it's in D&D and role play, they think it's fine, and they should know better.
Yeah, no, it's not okay by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
When you enter into like role-playing games, sometimes there needs to be a session 0 where you can just lay out the social contract that you're going to enter into when playing, which is like, you do not make anyone else around the table feel uncomfortable. You don't speak for them. You don't make them you don't harass them in or out of character, and it's just not okay. It's bullying, it's harassing, and it's not okay anywhere. There's many other layers on top of that they were doing wrong as well. Like,
I think this is 2 sessions. It went, so I don't know how. Like,
Yeah.
let's say an average session is 4 hours. So they sat through 4 hours of this first session, and not one of the people on the table tried to stop this. Like, there's like at least 3 or 4 guys there, and not one of them thought, "Hey, this is a bit inappropriate. This is bad."
Yeah.
Or just because that's, I think, entering into a in-person, entering any D&D campaign, especially with people you don't know, is a daunting enough task anyway. And until you kind of work out how you all play together, where your strengths lie, where you kind of maybe want to learn a little bit more, that sort of thing, it can be quite scary. And on top of that, when a group of people are actually actively harassing you, that would put you off the game, and that's really unfair to do that to somebody else.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for her as well. This is her first experience of in real life.
Yeah.
And this might have put her off playing ever again.
Yeah.
She said she'd been doing it online. It had been on hiatus. She was really missing it. She really wanted to try an in-person D&D game, and to have that experience.
And good on her for walking out as well and just think, you know what, this is enough. Like, not putting up with it.
Yeah.
And
big respect for it.
Yeah. But I think the co-worker is probably the most egregious person here, because not only did he invite that person there, didn't seem to stop it after that initial sort of curbing the other people trying to force her into being a healer, but seemingly didn't stop any of this other harassment throughout those 2 sessions, and also has to work with her as well.
Yeah.
So that's, I think that's probably the most egregious part of the story.
Yeah, I think he's the asshole.
Yeah, they're all the assholes
in this story.
Or a collective,
not the girl.
giant.
Everybody else other than the girl.
Yeah,
is
basically.
evil.
Yeah, but I just think that
100%.
he's the biggest up there, because that's inviting somebody to a group and then not doing anything when you recognize where. Actually, it's even worse if they didn't recognize that behavior was wrong. So if they didn't do anything about it because they didn't see the issue with it, then that's actually even worse than just recognizing it but doing. Is it worse? I don't know, actually.
It feels like the stereotype, the stereotype of like geeks and nerds that have never seen like a female before and they don't know how to act around them. It's giving off those sort of vibes, as horrible as the stereotype is. And I know not everyone's like that, but it is kind of like, oh my god, there's a girl playing D&D with us. I want to date her. I want to date her.
What's her role size?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. There's no excuse for adult men to be acting that way.
No.
Regardless.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yep. Not good at all. So we will do one more. Okay. Now this one is called, Am I the a-hole for breaking up a D&D group when my boyfriend left me?
Ooh.
Huh.
So, here is the story. So here's what happened. My Dungeons and Dragons group consisted of me, the DM, my now ex-boyfriend, and 2 of our friends. We'd play weekly-ish whenever our schedules lined up and had a grand old time. My boyfriend recently broke up with me, and not nicely either, but neither of our 2 friends supported the idea of me kicking the ex out and either playing with just the 2 of them or finding another person to play in his place. I said, fine, I'll leave then, but friends wouldn't have that either. They said they wanted to just finish the campaign and didn't want to find a new DM. We live in a small city, large town. There's not a ton of D&D action around. All DMs that we know all have their own games. I basically made it clear either the ex leaves or I do. They said neither option works, so I just decided not to schedule any more meetings. I used to be the one coordinating the schedule, because it's not like they can make me DM, right? I should add that the ex was on their side, saying we should all play together as normal and not let our breakup affect things. Now both friends and my ex are texting me asking when we're going to have the next session. I told them never, and they're telling me I'm an asshole for ruining their fun, breaking up the gaming group, etc. And that it's unfair of me asking them to pick sides. I wasn't trying to make anyone pick between us. I just do not want to share activities with my now ex anymore. Am I the a-hole? I just don't want to see him, and after what he said to me.
Well, Emma?
Tough one to finish on.
Yeah. I don't think that this person is unreasonable for asking for that person to leave the group. If it was a sour breakup and they don't want to see that person anymore,
he's made it nasty as well.
Yeah, like I wouldn't want to see somebody. I mean, it isn't life or death. This is a game, and if it's not fun, you shouldn't play it. And if that experience isn't going to make it fun, then I don't think that it's unreasonable to ask for or to stop scheduling it. Personally, I understand wanting to see things through and kind of like finish a campaign, but that the story there didn't actually give any kind of indication of how many sessions it would take to finish that campaign either. It could be 1 or 2 sessions, it could be a year. So unless we know that, there's also I wouldn't want to comment on that side of things because it could be any stretch of time.
You should just message saying you're all killed by a big dragon. The end.
Campaign over. Done.
Yeah, I think these two friends are the biggest arseholes here. Because they're like, no, we're not allowing you to leave. How can you stop someone from wanting to leave the group?
But
that's an insane
there's 2 options.
stance to
Either
have.
play with one of them or play with me. And they're both like, well, no, neither of those options are good for us right now.
Well, fuck you.
They're obviously affected by the break. Like, I can understand it in one sense. The friends aren't trying to pick sides, and I can kind of get that. But again, the friends are not handling it the right way by saying, no, we do not agree with these. It's like they're the parents, no, we are not going to get ice cream. You haven't ate your dinner first. Once you eat your dinner, then you get dessert.
Yeah. It's such an insane stance to have that you tell someone they can't leave the group, especially when they've just broken up with someone else. Like, no, you can't force someone to like spend recreational time with an ex if it's a sour breakup. That's a crazy thing to think.
Like hour sessions, like 3-4 hours at least.
Yeah. It's a long time to be sat around a table or sat in a Discord call or any type of call with somebody that you don't want to be around.
No, that's not a fun time for anyone.
No.
And the ex was on their side. I don't think the ex is
because
actually
he's the one that broke up and
gone. In this situation, he's not being the big a-hole. Like for the breakup, 100%.
Yeah.
But he's just saying, we should just play it together as normal and not let our breakup affect things. If that's all he said, that's not that bad. I think, yes, he's an a-hole for what he's done.
Yeah.
But I think it's the friends that are causing the most problems.
Yeah.
And they're definitely the a-holes in this situation.
Yeah. And seeing that he was the instigator of breaking up, of course he's not going to feel as awkward or as much animosity towards the other person. And will probably be more comfortable playing because he's the one that instigated it. So he doesn't have...
He feels like he's in control.
Yeah. But no, it's those friends. That's that is a very, very bizarre thing for them to say and to think.
A really wild take from them.
And I understand they're feeling awkward because they're obviously all friends and the friends with the ex and the friends with her. And they're in a very awkward situation. And I can understand that from their viewpoint, but they are not handling it well. If like so desperate to finish the campaign, they could just take those characters and play a new game.
Yeah. There's so many different solutions to this problem, or so many different solutions to this situation that doesn't involve forcing 2 people into a space together that neither of them want to be in. Well, I suppose the kind of one of them more than the other, but I can't imagine if you've broken up with somebody, you would want to necessarily, you might not mind doing it because you don't want to impact their life any further, potentially, although it doesn't sound like this person is particularly considerate if they've been not very nice during the breakup. But yeah, I don't know. There's so many different outcomes from this that could have happened where both parties could have been supported by the friends.
Yeah, and psychologically, like when you've broken up with someone, you need that distance to kind of to heal and move on, not be forced to interact with that person recreationally for like once a week, twice a week, once a month. Who knows?
Don't get us wrong. Everyone enjoys D&D, but it should not take priority over life. Life comes first, then you have D&Ds that escape, not D&D is the main focus. Then life can just...
Yeah.
Unless you make D&D your life. But anyway,
like Tim.
Interesting. Tim.
Also, another thing is that she said she was in charge of the scheduling. Apparently, the other 3 can't pick a date. Like
No.
once she's
Like physically incapable.
Yeah, once you stop scheduling the D&D games, they're like, oh, we don't know what to do. How can we possibly solve this problem of 4 people's calendars?
Yeah, and it's like, we don't want to find a new DM. Well,
Yeah.
tough. What do you think's going to happen after this? Like, if when you finish this campaign, what are you going to do? Well, you're going to start a new campaign, and chances are with new people. So just rip the band-aid off and go do it before you lose a friend, because obviously you care about her, and the fact that, well, actually, do they care more about the campaign,
I was about to say,
or do they care about her?
feels like they care more about the campaign.
Yeah. It's definitely
Because they're not
giving off
listening
those
to her.
vibes.
They just want to finish their campaign. So really, are they a friend to either of them? It's the friends. The friends are the problem here.
Yeah, 100%.
Agreed. The friends are the arsehole.
Yeah.
She is definitely not the arsehole in this case.
No.
There we go. Well, that was our 5. Some very interesting ones there as well. Again, if you've got your opinions, please let us know in the comments below.
Definitely.
We'd love to hear yours.
I would love to hear more Am I the Asshole stories about chairs specifically.
Yes.
A chair edition.
Yeah.
I'll
all
look
the
into
chair
that.
stories.
Yeah, there's just a whole subsection of Reddit as well. But what I am going to do is I'm going to put a little form in the description below. So if you find any other geeky sort of am I the a-hole kind of topics that you want us to talk about in videos, let us know. Who knows, we might do some non-geeky ones in the future. But for now, we're going to do some like gaming ones or like movie ones and TV ones, maybe some more Dungeons and Dragons one. I think Tim's ready to share his opinion in the future again.
I have a few opinions.
Yeah. So which one do you think is the biggest of the 5?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Which one do you think we think is the biggest a-hole of the entire?
Yeah.
100% that co-worker story.
Oh yeah,
Shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Biggest a-holes of the session.
Yeah, totally agree.
I was just thinking about the chair.
I was thinking about the chair. I got a bit distracted by the chair story. But yeah, no, I agreed. The co-worker story is absolutely mind-boggling. I can't believe stuff like that happens in real life.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's why you should never be friends with your co-workers. There you go. There's a friendly tip. Don't become friends with your co-workers and buy comfortable chairs. If you have any chair recommendations, please let us know in the comments below. What chair would you recommend if you're playing D&D and going around to a friend's house?
For 6 hours. What's going to keep that booty cushioned?
Absolutely.
Indeed. So we will end it there. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you keep an eye out for future videos on these topics because I'm enjoying talking about them as well. Thank you, Emma. Thank you, Tim, for sharing your opinions. We hope to be back soon with more of these. And like I said, please let us know your opinions and we'll read some of them in future videos or share some of your favorites as well. It's goodbye from me. It's probably going to be goodbye from them as well.
Goodbye.
Bye.
There we go. And we'll see you all soon. Bye for now.
Take care.